Hey guys, it's Tara coming to you from my comfy bed. Yes, I have cute little pigtails on, nice hoodie. I actually have a cat sitting on my lap, and I'm in my pajama pants. And I make no apologies for this, okay? This is my channel. I can do what I want. So, contrast. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. But when we talk about contrast, I'm not talking about skin colors. But you know, the first thing that does come to mind when we talk about contrast, especially for those of you that are involved in the art world, is the contrast. Colors definitely give us a mental image of what that is. You know, when you put two colors that are very different from one another, there's a contrast there. So what I'm referring to when we talk about contrast today is the different situations we find ourselves in, you know. A lot of people call them problems. They call them struggles. They call them, there's a lot of words that we use for them. And so the contrast that I'm going to talk about is what we view as good and what we want in our life versus the things that we don't want in our life that cause us pain, that cause us hurt, that cause us discomfort. And what I want to communicate today is nothing, absolutely nothing that we experience is bad, is negative. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and explain this. So, as a person that grew up in a very toxic home and that has been surrounded by people that brought me down most of my life or kept me down until I learned how to change my mindset, relationships, jobs, you know, we even just, you know, getting into a minor car accident. Like there's all these things we encounter throughout our lives that I've encountered throughout my life that for the longest time I was vibrating negativity towards them. Oh, well, this person did this. It's that victim mentality. Well, the reason why I'm like this is because so-and-so did such and such. And, you know, this person, you know, hurt me bad and look at everything they're doing. And so I'm going to tell you that we are vibrational beings, just like a cat purrs. There's a vibration that we let off with our words, with our thoughts, with our actions, and your tonality and the way you communicate. And I'm telling you this because you know what? I have had to have it fed back to me that, you know, those rough edges that they say people have. So the way that I communicated, it was communicating a negative frequency, a negative vibration. And I will tell you that all of the things that we go through, no matter what it is, what we deem bad, are for our growth, to show us things, okay? Lessons. So when we go through a negative experience, by the way, I don't even consider those things negative or bad anymore. Why? Because ultimately, they're for our good. What happens when you pick up the cat's moving. What happens when you pick up a cup of coffee and it's hot? Ouch! Ouch! Are you going to pick up that cup of coffee like that again? No, because it burned your fingers. So you would say, that's negative, that hurt. But what did it do? It caused you to learn a lesson to, hey, you probably shouldn't pick up that coffee cup like that again and burn yourself again. So are we going to repeat that in the future? I would hope the answer is no. If it is, that would mean that you are insane. The definition of insane is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Okay? So let's look at patterns in our lives. I see on Facebook, social media, out in public, people are constantly saying, oh, I keep encountering this problem. I keep encountering this problem with this person. I get into another relationship. It's everybody else's fault. Okay? I would say there's a couple different things. Number one, who's the common denominator? Okay? If you know anything about mathematics, what's the common denominator? It's the number on the bottom, which is typically you because anyway. Or what am I vibrating that is continuing to attract these things into my life? What lessons have I not learned from these painful experiences that have not infiltrated my heart enough and my mind enough to get me to change my behaviors? So what it could be is sometimes it's pretty obvious. Like, oh, that guy obviously just wanted a sexual experience and he didn't treat me very well. Like, obviously I don't want to do that again. So, there's little things, but there's a lot more things that are deep rooted mentally and emotionally and even spiritually that we have to weed out and get to the bottom of, to deal with before we can move forward. So when we talk about these negative experiences that we have, I think about my parents and the hurt that was caused to me. And I'm going to talk later on about forgiveness. That's another very, very powerful message that I want to talk about. I think about those things and I stop and I go, we talk about people breaking generational curses. How do you think that happens? Growing up in that hurt so bad and it was so uncomfortable that I'm going to change who I am and I'm going to fix those things within myself that I learned, those deep-rooted issues, and I'm going to change them so that I can teach my children, I can show other people how not to repeat those same things. So ultimately, everything that we experience, everything that we endure, everything, no matter what it is for our good. And even when we don't see it, think about that morning you get up and you go out to your vehicle and there's a flat tire and you're like, damn it, there's a flat tire. Okay, well, maybe you need to learn how to get your emotions under control. Or what if maybe there's a bigger reason for it? What if our higher power, your higher power, my power, inner being, God, source, whatever you want to call it, universe, gave you that flat tire or made sure you had that flat tire so you missed the accident that was going to happen that could have fatally taken your life. We can't see the purpose behind everything. That's why we talk about karma. Revenge is not a nice thing. It's another freaking topic I'm going to talk about. Anger, forgiveness, anger, So revenge. No, because ultimately what I vibrate, what I spend time thinking about, what I spend time speaking about, what I spend time acting on is what I'm going to attract around me. Have you noticed some of the happiest people never surrounded by negativity? Why? It's because the negativity doesn't want to be around them. They that's not what they're vibrating around them, so they're away from it. Why do you think toxic families, attract other toxic families? Why do you think people that come out of toxic families end up marrying from other people from toxic families and toxic thinking behaviors and toxic things? Because that's the vibration they're giving off and they haven't healed from it or they haven't changed their perspective, And so I want to challenge you with this. You've been looking at life and you see a 6. There's a 6 in front of you. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. What about if you flip that 6 upside down? I mean, it's the same number. It's just upside down. But what is it? It means something completely different. It's a 9. So here's my challenge to you today. How are you looking at life? What are you vibrating? What's your frequency? What are you attracting? Are you looking at life as a 6? Are you looking at it as a 9? So ultimately, all the things that we encounter throughout our life, they either become so uncomfortable within us that we move away from them and we put them behind us and we learn from them. And that in turn makes us move towards the things that we do want, that we are asking for, that we want more of in our life. So, is that situation that you've gone through or that thing that you went through really bad? Or was it to push you towards something better? Perspective. 6 or 9? 6 or 9? That could be so annoying. Anyway, all right, I'm going to sign off. But listen, I will see you guys soon. Trust me. You'll be seeing a lot more of me. Pajamas and all. Let's do this.